Hello, students. Yesterday we had studied about the the part of the plant, and that is the flower. We studied that how the parts of the flower is divided. That is sepal, petal, stamen, and that of the pistil. As well as we studied that the sepal, which is the green part of the plant, which help it in the green part of the flower, which is present at the base of the flower, and it help in the protection, uh, give protection to that of the flower when it is at bud form or it is at its initial stage. Then we comes to know about the petals, which is the colorful part, and the petals, they are responsible for attracting the insect towards it for pollination. Then we came to know about the male part and the female part, and male part is also known as the stamen, and stamen is basically divided into two, that is the anther and the filament. In anther, pollen sacs are present. Okay, pollen sacs, or we can say pollen grains, are present in it. Okay, these pollen grains are consisting of the male sex cell. Okay, then we come to the female part of the flower, and that is known as pistil or carpel. Okay, and pistil or carpel is it is divided into three parts, and that is stigma, style, and ovary. Okay, stigma is the upper part, where it consisting of a sticky substance where the pollen grain it get attached on it. Then the tube like a structure which is known as style, which connect the stigma to that of the ovary. And finally the base, that is the swollen base of the female part of the flower pistil, that is ovary. Okay, an ovary consisting of a very small egg, that is known as ovule. So now we will start with that what happened when this flower changes or it flowers help in the formation of the plant seed and that of the fruit. Okay, so when we talk about the fruit is what? It is that of the juicy substance that we obtain, or the edible part that we obtain from that of the plant. Okay, so it is a part of the plant which can be eaten, which is the edible part, which is the juicy part of the plant. Now you see, these are the examples like that of the watermelon or the apple or the lemon or tomato. All these are fruits. And what is the common in all of them? That the seeds are present in it. You can see that in all the fruits, you will see the seeds are present in it. So the seeds are basically present inside them. So from what is the role of these seeds present in the fruit? Basically what happened, these fruits and that of the seeds, they are formed from the flowers. Okay, the flower they shade off by forming the fruits and that of the seed which is present inside that of fruit. Okay, so flower is responsible for the formation of the fruits and seed, and this formation of the fruits and that of the seeds, it occurs by the process of pollination as well as by the process of fertilization. Now we will discuss about the pollination and fertilization. First of all, we will see here that the fruit, they grow from flowers. So flowers are responsible for the growth of the fruit. The second one is that each plant, it produces different fruit. Okay, so like that of the flower is different in different plant. The same thing with that of the fruit also. Each plant, it produces different fruit, and that fruit may have different color, different shape, as well as different size. Not only this, but different number of seeds also. Okay, so these fruits, they can be of a different color, shape, size, and number of seeds, but they all are formed by the flowers. Now see here, generally when we talk about the fruit is basically classified into two groups, that is the fleshy and nuts. I think you all are knowing about it. Fleshy, it means that fruit which consisting of juice in it. Okay, so juicy fruit which is having a lot of water in it, that is known as a fleshy fruit, which is having a pulp in it, that is a fleshy fruit. So pear, apple, melons, these all consisting of a juice in it, that's why they are the fleshy fruit. Now if we see that of the nuts, so you see nuts, they do not have a lot of water, so basically they are also known as the dried fruit. Okay, since it does not consisting of the water, so they are known as a dry fruits. Now see here, when we were talking about the fruits and the seed, we were saying that these are formed by from that of the flower. But how did it came? By which process? It came by the process of pollination. Pollination, or we can say that of the fertilization. So, what is pollination? When we talk about the pollination, what is a pollination? Pollen grains. What was the pollen grains, students? Pollen grains are present in the male part of the plant, that is anther one. You know that a stamen is divided into two, anther and filament, and when we cut that of the anther, then we see that pollen grains are present in it. So these pollen grains are present in anther, which is the male part of the flower. Okay, stigma was what? It was the female part of the flower, which is we can say the first part where the sticky substance is present on it. So it is the part of the pistil, or we can say it is the part of a carpel. So pistil or carpel is the female part of the flower. Now we will understand the definition here. The transfer of the pollen grains from the anther to the stigma of the flower is called pollination. Now the pollen grains, when it get transferred from the male part to the stigma of the female part, or the transfer of the pollen grain from the anther, that is also known as stamen, anther of a stamen, anther to that of the stigma of the pistil is known as pollination. Okay, so now see here, the question arises that how does this pollen grain they move? You can see here, this is the in this picture, one second, this is the male part and this one is the female part. So pollen grain from the male part, it get transferred to the female part. Pollen grains from the anther transfer to the stigma of the female part of the flower. Now the question arises that these pollen grains are immobile, they cannot move. So how they get transferred from one place to the another, one flower to the another? So basically there are some agents. Okay, agents are what which help to transfer the in transferring that of the pollen grain to the stigma of the pistil. Okay, so there are some external agent like that of a wind or water or gravity or animal or insects. These are the agents. What is their role? It help in carrying the pollen grains from the anther to the stigma. So these are responsible for the transference of pollen grain from the one male part to that of the female part. So the transfer of the pollen grain from anther of a stamen to that of the stigma of the pistil is called pollination, and the agent who are responsible for carrying the anther to that of the pollen grain to that of the stigma, they are known as agents or pollinators. Okay. Now see here student, you can see these insects, they if they, first of all they will sit at the anther, and as they sit on the male part of the flower, then what happened, the pollen grains, it will stick to that of the body of this insect, and finally when they move from one flower to the another flower, then one flower to that of the another flower, then the pollen grain which was stick to that of the body of the insect will shade off on that of the female part of the flower, that is pistil. So basically when we talk about the pollination, you see when the pollen grains with the help of the pollinator it fall on that of the stigma, then what happen, then it start moving down. As it comes here, then it start moving down in the in through the tube that is known as style, and from style this pollen grain reaches to the ovary. Okay, and there in the ovary, ovule is there, and the ovule and this pollen grain, they join together, and joining of the this pollen grain to that of the ovule is known as fertilization. Okay, so this male part, this pollen grain, it move from this male part to that of the female part. It is stick on the stigma. From stigma it start moving to the pollen tube to the ovary and reaches to the ovule, where the ovule and the pollen grain fuse together, and the process is known as fertilization. After fertilization, this ovule it grows and become seed. So ovule turns into seed. Okay, while the ovary, this whole ovary, it grows and become fruits. Okay, so you see here the ovary, ovule, it forms the seeds. Okay, while that of the ovary, it converted into a fruit. Okay. So this is the process of pollination, or how the fertilization occurs, and by this fertilization the ovule it changes into seed and the ovary of the flower changes into that of fruit. So we can say from the flower, this, because the ovule and ovary are the part of the flower, so from the flower fruit and seed formed. Now we will see the question answer of this chapter. So the first question is, correct the following statement and rewrite them in your notebook. So the first one is, stem absorb water and mineral from the soil. So you know that the stem, it does not absorb water and mineral from the soil, but it is the root which absorb water and mineral from the soil, not the stem. Stem is to carry the water and mineral from the root to that of the leaves, but from the soil the root only responsible for absorbing the water and mineral. So here you will write root. root. Okay, you can check the answer here, root. Leaves hold the plant upright. Then the second one is leaves hold the plant upright. It means that leaves are responsible for making the plant to stand upright, to stand erect. But you know that leaves are responsible for making the food. It is the root which is responsible for the making the plant upright. So answer will be root again. Okay. Now see here. Root conduct water to the leaves. You know that root is there to absorb water and mineral from the soil. But later on, this water and mineral is conducted by the stem of the plant, which is responsible for carrying the water and mineral to that of the leaves. So it is not the root, but actually it is that of the stems. Okay, stems are responsible for that. The number of sepal and petal in a flower is always equal. So you know that the number of sepal and petals in a flower is not always equal, but it is usually equal. So answer will be number of sepal or petal is usually equal. If the sepal of the flower are joined together, its petals are also joined. So answer will be, if the sepal of the petal, here it is talking about the green part which is present at the base of the flower. If it is joined, the petal of the flower is also joined. But the answer will be the petals, if the sepal of the flower are joined together, its petals are not necessarily joined together. So here we will cut also and write it not necessarily. Okay, not necessarily. If the petal of the flower are joined together, then the pistil is joined to the petal. Again here, if the petal of the flower are joined together, then the pistil is not necessarily joined to that of the petal. Okay, you can see here in copy you have to write, first of all you have to write the question and then you have to write the answer by correcting it. So the first one, root absorb the water and mineral from the soil. Root, it is responsible for making the plant stand upright. Stem, they are responsible for carrying the water from the roots to the leaves. And the number of petal and sepal, they are not always equal, but they are usually equal. If the sepal of the flower are joined together, its petals are not necessarily joined together. If the petal of the flower are joined together, then the pistil is not necessarily joined together. Okay, so these are the answer of the first question. Now we will see the second one. Draw a leaf, a taproot and a flower that you have studied for table 7.3 of the textbook. So here you simply have to draw the diagram of a well-labeled diagram of a leaf, a taproot and that of the flower. So this is the diagram of a leaf. You have to draw the diagram in which you will mention the midrib, you mention the lamina, vein as well as that of the petiole. In case of a taproot also you have to mention the main root and that of the lateral root, which is very important, then stem and that of the leaves. And finally the flower, which must contain all the parts including the sepals, including the petals, stamen and that of the female part, which is known as carpel or pistil. The next one is, can you find a plant in your house or in your neighborhood which has a long but a weak stem? Write its name. In which category would you classify it? So here it is asked about that whether we have seen such a plant in our house or in our neighborhood which is having a long stem but the stem is very weak. Okay, so it is that plant which is having a long but a weak stem. So you know the money plant, is a very good example of it. So yes, we have seen such kind of a plant in our house as well as in our neighborhood, which is having a weak stem. And you know, the money plant, it comes in the climber. Okay, so they are having the long stem, but the stem is very weak, that it needs support to move upward. Okay, so yes, we find a money plant in our house. And in which category would you classify it? So money plant is basically classified in a climber. Okay, so money plant is in our house and it is a climber. Then the next one is, what is the function of a stem in a plant? It is a very important question. So what are the different functions of the stems in the plant? The stem and its branches hold leaf to get maximum sunlight. Okay, so the function of the stem or the branches is to hold the leaves, so that these leaves they carry the process of photosynthesis well by taking the proper amount of sunlight. So the function of the stem and branches, the leaves, they used to attach themselves from the tree with the help of the stem or branches. Second one, it transport water from root to the different part of the plant. So you know that the water and the mineral is transferred from that of the root to leaves with the help of a stem. It transports food from the leaf to the different part of the plant. Again, not only taking the water and mineral, but you know that a phloem tube is there, which takes the food which is prepared by that of the leaves by process of photosynthesis. It used to carry the food from the leaves to the other part of the plant. What is the function of a stem in a plant? The fourth one is, it bear leaves, fruits and that of the flower. So you know, the fruits, leaves and that of the flowers are also attached themselves with the tree with the help of a stem. Okay. Now see the next question. Which one of the following leaf have a reticulate venation? So out of all these, which one is having the reticulate venation? What is reticulate venation, student? Reticulate venation is a network-like structure, is a net-like a pattern in the veins of the leaves, and that is known as reticulate venation. Example is China rose is there, tulsi is there. Okay, so these are the plants which is having the reticulate venation. Now see, if the plant has a fibrous root, what type of a venation are its leaves likely to have? So we have studied, when we are studying about the relationship between the type of a venation and that of the type of a leaves, we studied that a fibrous root is always having a parallel venation, while that of the tap root is having a reticulate venation. Okay, so the plant which is having the fibrous root, it is having the parallel venation too, while that of the plant which is having the tap root, they are having the reticulate venation. Now the same type of a question is asked here also, that if a plant has a leaf with reticulate venation, what kind of a root will it have? It was just like that of the previous question. So we studied that if a leaf is having the reticulate venation, then the root will be of taproot. Is it possible for you to recognize the leaf without seeing them? How? So, is it possible for us by simply seeing the leaves of the plant and recognize that it is from which plant? No. We cannot easily recognize the leaves without seeing them. After seeing them, after touching and smelling them, we get idea that it belongs to which plant. Now see here, write the name of the parts of the flower in sequence from outside to the inside. So here we have to write the different names of the flower which is in the sequence. It must be in sequence, where we will start with the first one from outside to that of the inside. So the first one which is present at the outer side of the flower is the sepals. Now what is the role of the sepals? So sepals basically they are present at the outer side and they help in protecting the bud in the initial stage, or it help in protecting that of the flower at its initial stage when it was a bud form. Okay, petals, the second one is the petal. So petals are what? These are the part of the flower which are the colorful part of the flower, and these are responsible for the process of pollination that occur inside that of flower. Okay, so they help in attracting the insect towards it, as well as they are responsible for the fragrance and the nectar of the flower. The next one is the stamens. Stamens are the male part of the flower which is present in that of the petals. Okay, so it is basically present inside to that of the petals, and these stamens are classified into two, that is anther and filament. Okay, so they are classified as anther. One second. Anther, and the second one is filament. Okay, then the last one, which is the female part of the flower, and which is also known as pistil or carpel. So basically it is classified into three parts. The first is known as a stigma. Stigma is the part of the flower where a sticky substance is present, and which is responsible for the pollen grains to stick on it. Okay, then the next one is the style. Now the function of this style is to connect the stigma to that of the ovule. So basically it is a tube-like structure which help in attaching or joining that of the stigma to the ovary. And the third one is known as ovary. Okay, so ovary is the swollen portion of the flower which is basically present at the base of the flower. OVARY, ovary. Okay, so these are the different part of the flower from outside to that of inside. Now see here, name the part of the plant which produces its food and name its process. So you know that the part of the plant which is responsible for the production of the food is basically that green part of the flower, and they make their food by the process of photosynthesis, and this green part of the plant is known as leaves. So the part of the plant which is responsible for production of the food is that of the green leaves. Okay, so green leaves, they are responsible in producing the food for the plant, and these green leaves consisting of the green pigments called chlorophyll, which is responsible for carrying the process of photosynthesis. Okay, so by the process of photosynthesis, food is produced. Now see here, in which part of the flower you are likely to find the ovary. Okay, so we find ovary in pistil. You know that ovary is what? It is the female part of the flower. We had just studied that the female part of the flower, which is also known as a carpel or pistil. Okay, so carpel or pistil basically divided into three parts, and that is the ovary, ovule, and that is the stigma, style, and that of ovary. This ovary, it consisting of a small egg cells, and that is known as ovule. Okay, so this ovary is a part of the female part of the flower, and that is known as pistil. So we find ovary in pistil, and it is the lowermost part of the pistil, or we can say that it is the swollen base. Okay, if this is the ovary, so this is the swollen base of that female part, that of the pistil, is known as ovary. Okay, now see here, name two flower each with joint and separate sepals. So we studied that the flowers, it may consisting of the sepals, and that sepals, basically the function of the sepal is to give protection to the buds of the flower. But you see here, these sepals, they are joined to that of the petals. They remain joined to that of the petals, or there are some of the flower also there which gets separated from that of the flower. Okay, so sepals, some of the sepals are there which are joined to that of the flower, or some of the sepals are there which, when the petals or when the flower bloom, then it's separated from that of the flower. So here you see the flower with the joint sepals is Dhatura and that of Loki. Okay, so Loki and that of Dhatura, these are having the sepals which is joined together. Okay, which are not separated but which are joined together. Now the flower with separated sepals, there are some flower which when they bloom, the sepals, they separated from it, like that of the gurhal. Here it is written gurhal, that's a gurhal, or we can say hibiscus. And the second one is the mustard. So mustard flower, when they bloom, when the flower, the bud when mature, then and changes to flower, then the sepal, it gets separated from it. The same thing with that of the gurhal plant, where the sepal gets separated from it. So flower with the joint sepals is Dhatura and Loki, and flower with the separate sepal is gurhal and that of mustard. Okay.